take them all to Roy York, and that's not true. It's 22 degrees. I don't know where they go. Hello?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Okay, this called is intense. Dollarama. I'd get one that I could turn pages with. All the fulsome tents, some big, some small. Along the way, the swift passage of the flow, the sweeper's lights in a foggy night. Scrape the night away. Where does light go when the glow of warm faces goes cold? The arms, the legs, the hands, the feet, the dispossessed. When the park forsakes land claims, for God-forsaken safe havens, for croquet, picnics, little white sandwiches cut in two, frisbee, flinging, bocce balls spinning from our tousled toes, when othered frozen fingertips are lit by sirens, glaring red, the pretty city streets, the dim lit winds of repartee of posh restaurants that stow away the shards of bleeding flesh, flanks of hanging juiciness. How do I like my steak, you say? I like it when it's not burning, when no one is tied to it, when no fodder fuels bundles of sticks to meet misidentified women. I like it when the land fights back and hollers, no, 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 no. I like the steaks fleeing from dumpsters, from behind Loblaws into hungry homes unhoused, the only house as heart, pacing, thumping of the tents like battered blossoms grow until they are forced to wander away. I just stopped myself a bit. Oh, that was, yeah, that's another subject.
I'm switching out.
Okay, and I'll do one more.
Okay, wait for the new.
It's just not very flat.
It's not very loud.
Yeah.
I don't think it's working at all, is
Yeah.
it?
That was for like 1 second.
You projected. It was
Yeah, it was
awesome.
good.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was good.
Maybe I can find the poem I intended to read.
Check.
Oh, look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
Good
tragedy.
job. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trapped in my yellow space.
You're trapped in your trappings of beauty.
Alright, so this is all. And the mic I have switched on right now. But that's all.
I can't find this poem. There it is. Okay, I found my poem. Hello? Hello? That's not working either, is it? Oh, maybe this isn't on. Hello? Oh, there.
There you go.
Okay, this is the poem I meant to read.
Okay.
And just so you know, I go to Loblaws all the time, so I'm complicit in the last poem I read. When Loblaws first opened, I was afraid of it because it's a really big one. I was afraid to go in. I think it would be an improvement if they, in the middle of Loblaws, they had a carousel that was made of hockey players. And you go up and down like on a horse. You go round and round and remembering Canada's pastime. I love it. Yeah, don't you think it's such a huge story? They could have a little carousel for me and other people. Or you could have hockey players on either side and sit on a bench between your two favorite hockey players and go round and round. Okay, this poem is, well, I wrote it during this period, the last week and this week. Cassandra Myers, who is the Youth Poet Laureate. Oh no, she's not. That's another poet. Well, Cassandra Myers won one of Lillian Allen's awards for as a poet. Okay. She has a wonderful poem about borders, and she's probably half my age or less, like most people. Well, it's okay, but you're allowed to be young. And so I realized I have a very different sense of borders that changed over 60, almost 70 years. And she's very critical of borders, and I said, here it is. I don't like doing the preambles longer than the poem. Okay. I loved borders as a child, the incentive of great big suburban malls, Buffalo, suburbs, crystal beaches, fun parks, amusement arcades, Erie Lakes, Grand Islands, rivers crossing from country to country, carved out escarpments, gorges, and boats named maids of misty intent. No passports required, rainbows and bridal veils naming falls, dollars at par, customs officers who smiled like candy floss was the only sensible substance left in the world. They fooled me when the 8-lane highways came in. If I was sleeping in the back seat at 5 years old, they would bypass the scenic route and I would miss the falls. I would cry when I realized, when I became old enough to recognize those strings of little booths, those customs officials, suddenly knowing I had missed the rage of gushing water, high-wire acts and barrels crossing these turbulent rivers, risen national monoliths of industry and banking, heads bobbing in uniforms, arms reaching for papers through car windows, never imagining the foreboding days those asphalt hapless hut-infested gates would foretell for years, going on vacation from essential meds, HIV travel bans because our viral marginal bodies were forbidden visitors from one place to another, with homicidal places stalling research, silencing lives, silencing love, silencing that cotton candy love that once welcomed us with the then unfettered arms of these fraught borders, margins, where communities thrived and struggled and fly into modes we may never see again. When a border becomes a wall, when the fourth wall is bricked over, when the margins are scarred by the fin of fence posts driven into human lives, in the heart of the border, the margin, the community of geographic lines and lies. This is an important pause where you can all sing dance. Oh, I did the same thing yesterday. How wonderful. That's human lives in the heart of the border, the margin, the community of geographic lines and lives. That's the end of the poem. But I paused and went to the next page because I thought that there was more of the poem. And I wrote